Hi, all. Welcome to another episode of Beyond Chronic Disease. My name's Wendy Gathercole. I'm your host, if you don't already know. And today I have the beautiful, vibrant Deb Crawford with me. Hi, Deb. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you, Wendy. How are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic now.
Have you had your bars run by any chance?
Maybe I do. I'm moving house and downsizing, so I've got a lot on my plate, but that's all good. So, Deb, I want to let everybody know who you are and how I came in contact with you. Deb is an Access Bars practitioner and facilitator, and also a body process practitioner. Now, we're talking Access Bars this week for Suicide Prevention Week because I have had some profound changes in my life since I had my bars ramp. And I met Deb at an Access Foundations course earlier on in the year, in February, I believe.
I think so.
And we've been in contact ever since, and she has the most infectious laugh ever.
Do I? Oh, so, I love that.
So we're going to get her laughing. See, she's already doing it. So Deb, I would love to ask, how has Access Bars impacted on your life?
Can I first tell you how I came across bars?
Oh, of course.
Because it was actually really interesting. So a friend of mine was hosting a lady for a class at her home, and she invited me to this class. So I had a look at the class, and it was a relationship class. And I thought, sort of read it and went, not super interested in that. But for some reason, the lady who was running the class, there was something about her that really drew my attention. And so I kind of looked her up, and it ended up that she was an Access certified facilitator, actually. So that's kind of like a level up from being a bars facilitator. So I saw Access Consciousness Certified Facilitator, and I thought, what is that? And so that led me down the path of having a look at the Access website. And funnily enough, it must have been like around August or September, which is when all of the Access Bars practitioners and facilitators, or a lot of them around the world, do free sessions for people as part of Suicide Awareness Month. So I saw this on the website, and I was going through a bit of a tough time. I wasn't feeling a lot of joy in my life. I had tried lots of different modalities, and I thought, well, why not? There's something that's drawn me to this particular modality. So I had a look, and I found a lady close by who was going to be offering some sessions. And so I went along. And funnily enough, it was very funny. I rocked up at the door. So I made my appointment, rock up at the door, knock on the door, nothing. Knock on the door again. And this older lady came out in her pajamas. And I said, oh, I'm Deb. I'm here for the Access Bars session. Like, am I at the right place? And the lady said, oh my gosh, was that today? Oh, I must have messed it up on the computer. I thought I set that for next week. And so she was there in her pajamas, and I said, well, no worries at all. I'll come back next week. No problem. She's like, no, dear, come on in. So she took me inside, went and got changed out of her pajamas, set her table up, and that's how I had my first bar session. Wow. And it was super relaxing, and she's an absolute delight. Her name's Joan, and she's one of the Brisbane Bars practitioners and facilitators who has been around for a very, very long time. And she was just so gracious and so lovely. I dropped into that bars session, and I just, basically just fell asleep straight away. And when I, came back and came to after the session, it was the most relaxed I'd felt in a very long time.
That's amazing.
So yeah, at that point, I kind of thought, well, there's something in this bars. I kind of want to learn this. And 2 weeks later, I did a class with Joan, and then became a practitioner. So that's kind of my little story of how I came across bars. So it was one of these, kind of a little, just following the energy really, which is one of the things that we talk about a lot in Access. So it was very cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. And that's similar to me, like, well, similar in that when I had my bars run, I was like, oh my God, I need to learn this. So I did the course within, I'm not sure now, within a few weeks.
Yes, same.
And I think I had my practitioner, not my practitioner, my facilitator, done in a few months. So,
yeah, you're super speedy.
yeah, I just haven't got to the facilitator, the end process yet, to pay, to get the certification there, but I have done it all. And then the foundation, like I said, went to that. And yeah, so I've just been, I just thought it was amazing. And I always give credit to my cousin who put me onto it when I was in complete overwhelm.
Oh, beautiful.
And I even said, and I know Access is like, there's nothing wrong with you. That's what they say. And got to the point where I'm like, well, what's wrong with me? And so, knowing Access and all the processes and so forth, I just absolutely love it. And I love the body processes that they do. And I mean, bars is a body process. But yeah, so that was it really helped me too with that overwhelm. And you're sort of not sleeping and everything, and I just had the most, like, the deepest sleep after I had my bars run. And probably you would experience this too, when we run bars at the festivals at Mind Body Spirit. And I had the most, I don't think I've slept better than ever after being at the stand all day, taking all that energy. It's just beautiful.
And it's fun, right?
Oh, and it was so much fun.
Yeah. And the thing I find about bars is that, the Mind Body Spirit Festival, I was there from, I think, 9 a.m. until 5 p.m, pretty much running bars the whole day, apart from, a short break for lunch. And it's just ease. Like when you gift a session to somebody, you're actually receiving a session yourself. So you're getting all that beautiful relaxation. And for me, there's like this, I don't know, it's a certain feeling that I only get when I'm running bars or receiving bars. And it's like a kind of really grounded feeling in my belly. Like I just really drop in, my body just relaxes. And yeah, even when I'm running bars, which is amazing. So it's just one of those things that you can kind of do all day, and it doesn't drain your energy at all. It just provides you with beautiful energy.
Yeah, it's not like doing a body massage or anything, is it? It's such a light touch on the head. And I have explained the bars in my previous podcast. This week we're doing, I'm doing a special week of in line with Suicide Prevention Week. I just thought that it was fitting to do the Access bars.
Absolutely.
So it's just the 32 points on our head, and it's just a real light touch. And I have said to people that the energy of people that I've ran bars on has actually thrown my hands off their head, and yet they still have that sensation that I'm touching their head. So that's what astounds me. It's just energetic practice, isn't it? It's just
and you could be touching somebody super lightly, and they feel like, they can really feel it. It's incredible.
It's like you're squeezing their head. They can feel that pressure, but it's not like that at all.
That's right.
I was running bars on somebody, and they asked for me to lighten the pressure off their head. Like you say, you're sort of, it's so much ease. And when I'm running bars with people, I just sort of, I drop down my head and just do take the whole thing in and be very present. And in that, because I wasn't actually looking at my hands, and I'm thinking, I actually don't feel like I'm really touching their head. So I looked up, and my fingers were away from their head completely. And I'm like, okay. So I didn't say anything. I just went, okay. And I thought, this is just so cool. And the experience that when I finished, and they went, wow. It's just,
I don't think I've had one person that hasn't said wow. And it can be wow in all sorts of different ways. It could be, wow, that was interesting. Wow, I just fell asleep and I'm always so high strung. Wow, you know, for once I don't have all these thoughts running around in my head. There's all different sorts of wows, and that's actually what's really cool too, because you never quite know what somebody is going to get from a session. And it can also change depending on the timing for that person. So each session can be really different as well.
Yeah,
it's
and
a really interesting process.
And also, not everybody feels anything either. Like some people go to sleep almost immediately. I ran the bars on my young son, he's 20. He's my youngest, but I ran
Still your
bars
baby,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, it's my baby. He's going to be 21 on Wednesday. I ran bars on him, and I left him asleep on the massage table. I think about 8 hours later he got off.
Nice.
So it's just so different for everybody. I know I've ran bars on people that don't feel anything whatsoever. They, but the bars keep running for days, and it's just interesting to hear what they say a few days later. It's like, that's
like,
because of the bars,
it's changed.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I know with myself, if anyone runs my bars, I just get it's so profound for me. As soon as they go to touch my head, I can just feel every energetic bit ever. So, but I just absolutely love it.
Yeah. You mentioned before that it often helps you sleep really well. Well, I had my bars run a couple of weeks ago. Another beautiful facilitator came over and swapped with me. And that night I slept for like 10 hours straight. Like, I'd had this most beautiful relaxation session on the table, and then I went to bed and I was out. And, it is the deepest sleep that I had had in a very long time. So it really can help with so many things. And obviously, if you're feeling anxious or if you're feeling stressed or depressed, then sleep is one of the most important things that's really, necessary for our body. So even if that is the only thing that you kind of get out of a bar session, that is such a gift.
It is. Yeah, no, I align and agree with you there.
Do you?
That's an inside joke, people.
That's an access joke. Yes.
Yes. So even though, like we say, you have a good night's sleep, and people might be saying, "Oh, yeah, but I have a massage and I have a good night's sleep too." It's because I've had lots of like you mentioned, you've been to you've had lots of different modalities you've come across, and so have I, and I think there's a lot of us that have, and when we so having that massage, yes, you have a good night's sleep, but just sort of I find when you run the bars, it just feels like you just get everything taken out of your head. And there's no thought, it's just like you are very, like, relaxed is one word, but like really spacey, but in a really good way. Like you've got no thought, you've got, I don't like to say empty head. I mean, although empty head is a good saying in how I see it, but it's just a beautiful process, and there's nothing more calming than that, because it just has a flow-on effect for me. Like it goes from the head and then you just feel like your whole body's floating. That's how I feel after I have my bars run. It's
interesting because my body feels heavier normally, but that's a really beautiful sensation for me as well.
Yeah.
And that just kind of reiterates that everybody, can have different experiences from the bars.
Yeah, exactly.
And our bodies are really different, so that makes sense.
And that's why the processes work so differently on everybody. So, but so Deb, you've been facilitating a lot of classes, a few classes lately. So what's something that what's something that's sort of pinged for you that somebody has mentioned, or what's anything that sort of,
do you mean as a result of a class?
Yeah, sort of anything.
So I actually, somebody who joined one of my classes recently is a friend from down in New South Wales, and she actually joined my class because when I went down there and visited, I ran her bars. She'd had some bad news, so I was actually staying with her, and she'd had some bad news that day, and it had really, really thrown her, and she was very, very upset. So I just said to her, well, you know, why don't I run your bars? And we just sat down on the couch, like she lay down on the couch because we didn't have a massage table down there. So I just sat there and she popped her head, you know, on a pillow. And I ran her bars, and the amount of release that she had from that session was absolutely incredible. So her body was doing a lot of energetic release. There was a lot of muscle movement and twitching going on. There was a point at which she released with some tears, and she just finished that session so amazingly relaxed. And she said to me straight away, you know, I don't know what you did. That was magic. I want to learn this.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And that's
so that led to her coming to my class, which was really beautiful.
Yeah. And at a class, we get to do the swap. We get to have 2 sessions at a class, which is really awesome. Hey.
Yeah.
And
so you gift a session twice and you receive a session twice.
Yes.
So you really get to understand what it feels like and really to have that experience of both gifting and receiving, which is really beautiful.
And I've like when you to become a facilitator, we have to do 3 bars classes, and in each of those bars classes you have, like, you know, you go to different facilitators, so you have different people generally show up at those classes. And I know that, like I said before, every time that a different person has you know, ran my bars, I get a different sensation as well. And even in a class, when you get your bars run twice, in that when you receive your bars twice in that class, you get a different sensation from one to the next.
It can be completely different.
Yeah. And also we know that when we gift somebody their bars, running their bars, we also get the benefit of it as the gifter, don't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's kind of win-win if you're a practitioner or a facilitator. Actually, you know what I said when I was facilitating my last class, I said to the participants of my class, I was like, oh my gosh, I've got FOMO. Like, I actually want to be on the table with you guys, because when you're facilitating, you don't get to receive and you don't get to gift. And I'm sitting there going, hey, this is not fair. I actually want to be on the table with you guys.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought about that.
Yeah. They had a bit of a giggle, but I'm like, hey.
Yeah. There was something I was going to say and I've forgotten.
Sorry.
No, I always forget. I think it was just when you were talking about your friend, when you the bars and the changes that she made. That's right. I was doing it on a family member, and she fell asleep for a short period of time. And then I just left her, because that was sort of at the end that she fell asleep. And about, I don't know, 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later, she comes running into where I was and says, I don't know what you did to me. It was that, I don't know what you've done to me. That's what it was. What you did to me, but I just fell asleep. I went, yeah, I know, right?
Isn't it great?
And I know we typically run bars for an hour, but I know at the festival, like Mind Body Spirit, sometimes we only run them for 20 minutes. And it's so effective even for 20 minutes. Hey, like,
yeah, it's amazing to see the difference in the faces of the people between when they, you know, lie down on the chair and then when they get up. It's pretty incredible.
I love when they get up, because they just sort of like, they look at me like, they look at me like, what the hell did you just do to me? Like, and that's what I love, you know. And then we talk about the bars hair, don't we? Because our hair's all over the place, like a, you know, massage. So anything else that you'd like to share about the Access bars, Deb?
Yeah, there's one thing that I think that has been a massive contribution to me, and it's the community that surrounds access bars and access in general. Like, access consciousness is all over the world. It's in 190 something countries.
Yeah.
I could be misquoting there, but it's a lot of countries.
Something like that, yeah.
So pretty much wherever you go in the world, you know, there's going to be someone that you can find just around the corner who's an access bars practitioner. And there's such a community in that, and you know, it's like a community of like-minded people. And I think, like, at least in Australia, we get together a lot. We get together for swaps. There's a lot of online classes. There's, you know, we're now starting to have more and more in-person classes again, but there's so much opportunity to travel and to meet beautiful people. And that for me is something which is an amazing gift as well. So I'm really grateful for that, as well as, you know, the beautiful body process of the access bars and the other body processes, which we haven't talked about much, but there are other things you can learn as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, the beautiful community, and there's just, it's beautiful community of people who love to create and who won't stop. You know, I don't know, how would you describe that? Well, there's just a lot of energy, and there's a lot of movement and change and progression. Maybe progression isn't the right word, but yeah, people aren't content to sit still typically if they're involved with access. It's like always creating and always moving forward and trying different things, and there's always something new. That's kind of the energy that I'm getting at. Yeah, so it's a exciting and lovely community to be involved in.
And I also, to add to that, everyone in access, they only want to see the best in you or the best out of you. There's no bitchiness or anything. It's like, you're a facilitator, I'm a facilitator. Let's get together and
let's create something. What can we create?
You know, it's not like, oh, you're doing that, or, you know, it's all, that's the togetherness that I really love in access. And like you say, when we get together and do bar swaps, and you know, I had the space here. I don't now, because I had the space here. I had a bar swap, and it was just absolutely beautiful. And you know, you can do the people can actually receive getting their bars run, and also another body process at the same time. And that's just that's amazing. That's the best. Well, thanks, Deb.
Thank you.
Oh, that's my pleasure. I just want to share this, and I'll put all the links in the show notes for Access Consciousness, because I was only aware of Access Consciousness late last year, so many people probably have not heard of them. So have you got any classes or anything coming up, Deb? Or
I don't, because I'm actually going overseas, which I'm very excited about. So I'm hoping to catch up with some facilitators, or at least practitioners in Europe, and hopefully do something for Suicide Awareness Day over there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just reaching out and contacting some people to see what's happening, because I'm going to be there for that weekend of September 10 and 11.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, and I actually am meeting up with a couple of practitioners and facilitators anyway, who I've met previously. So yeah, there'll be lots of bars being run over there. But yeah, in terms of classes, nothing yet. I'll probably organise something for November.
Yeah, cool. We'll have a great trip over there. And actually, what I want to say about that, Access, when you're talking about going overseas and connecting with people, Access, on the Access Consciousness site, they have got every single practitioner and facilitator all over the world, all in the one spot. And all you need to do, which is what I did to find my facilitator, was to put the city that you live in and country, and they just all pop up. So it's easy to find somebody.
Super easy.
Yeah. And that's what Access is all about: ease, joy, and glory.
Absolutely.
So on that note, thanks so much, Deb, for being part of my podcast, Beyond Chronic Disease, and have an awesome time over in Europe. I know that you will.
I will.
We will catch up one day, because I'm also off to a couple of days later, I'm off to the States for a month. So
Oh, wow.
yes, won't be doing too much access stuff though. It's all other stuff. But anyway,
Mhm.
yeah, so
Enjoy.
yes, we'll do. So until then, thanks again. I really appreciate you being on here.
You're so welcome. Thank you for the invitation.
My pleasure. Bye.
Bye, love.